Good morning, children. In this video, we will learn about the basics of photosynthesis. As we all know, all living things require food, be it humans or animals. They eat other animals or plants as food, but plant cannot eat like humans or animals. So, plant obtain their food by preparing it on their own by the process called photosynthesis. Now, what is this photosynthesis? If we will split this term synthesis, we are getting two terms, photo plus synthesis. Okay, now the photo means light and the synthesis means to put together or to prepare. So according to this term, the definition of photosynthesis is it is a process by which green plants make their own food using carbon dioxide, water, chlorophyll, and this process is taking place in the presence of sunlight. Okay, if there is no sunlight, no photosynthesis will take place. So carbon dioxide, water, chlorophyll are basically the raw material. Chlorophyll not, carbon dioxide, water and sunlight are basically the raw material for the photosynthesis, and all this process is taking place in the chloroplast. This chlorophyll is basically the molecules which are present in the chloroplast of each and every plant cells. Okay, this chlorophyll molecules basically traps the solar energy and help in the process of photosynthesis. Okay, and where these chlorophyll molecules are present, they are present in the chloroplast of plant cell. So if you will see the overall reaction of this photosynthesis, the reaction is basically that plant absorbs 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, it also absorbs 12 molecules of water, and in the presence of sunlight, using chlorophyll molecules, they prepare the food which is known as glucose. This glucose is a carbohydrate. They are preparing their food, glucose. Along with that, 6 molecules of oxygen are also evolved and 6 molecules of water are produced. Okay, now this glucose, extra glucose are stored in plant in the form of starch. Okay, so the food of the plant is basically the glucose, and extra food are stored in the form of starch. Now how this plant basically absorb all the raw material? We have seen the raw materials are basically the water, carbon dioxide and the solar energy. So water are being absorbed by the roots of the plant, solar energy are being trapped by the chlorophyll molecules. As I said, they are present in the chloroplast. So chlorophyll molecules basically traps the solar energy, and this carbon dioxide are taken by the plant with the help of stomata. Now what is this stomata? Stomata are basically a mouth or opening present on the surface of the leaf, be it upper surface or lower surface. So if you see the leaf, okay, if you see the leaf, they have the upper epidermis and the lower epidermis, upper surface and the lower surface, or the upper epidermis or the lower epidermis. They will have stomata. More number of stomata will be present on the lower surface or the lower epidermis, while very less few will be present on the upper surface of the leaf. Now this stomata, as we all have seen, lift. Okay, when the gate of the lift is open, people can move inside and outside the lift. Similarly, stomata, when the stomata is open, exchange of the gases can take place, means outside carbon dioxide can move inside the plant, and inside, after the process of photosynthesis, when oxygens are produced, it can move outside the plant. So it acts like a gate, and exchange of the gases, movement of the gases inside and outside the plant can take place. And as we have seen, when the gate of the lift are closed, no exchange of the gases can, no people can move inside or outside. Similarly, when stomata are closed, no exchange of the gases can take place. Okay, is it clear till here? Now we will study the structure of the stomata. A stomata is basically made up of two guard cell. Okay, in that guard cell, nucleus will be there, chloroplast will be there, and the vacuoles will also be there. Vacuole in plant, as we all know, they are big in size but less in number, while in animals they are small in size and large in number. So in a guard cells also vacuoles will be present, which will be large in size. Nucleus will be present, chloroplast will be present. Okay, this chloroplast again will help, will have the chlorophyll molecules and traps the solar energy. Okay, now the outer wall of the guard cell is basically thick, thin. The outer wall of the guard cells are thin and elastic, while the inner wall of the guard cell is thick and inelastic. This is the outer wall. Okay, this is the outer wall which is thin and elastic, while the inner wall, this is the inner wall. Okay, which is thick and inelastic. So this is basically the structure of the stomata, which is made up of two guard cell. Outer wall is thin and elastic, while the inner wall is thick and inelastic. Okay, now opening, mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. There are various mechanisms given regarding the opening and the closing of the stomata, like the starch sugar interconversion hypothesis, potassium ion pump hypothesis. But in simple terms for you all, the opening and the closing of stomata is taking place when guard cells absorb water or loses water. Okay, when the guard cells absorb water, it becomes turgid. Just like take the case of a balloon. Okay, when we fill the balloon with air, it becomes turgid. Similarly, when the guard cells absorb water, it becomes turgid. Okay, and the pressures are applied on the wall of the guard cell. Now this is the outer wall. Okay, outer wall, and this is the outer wall. When the guard cells are having water, pressures are applied and the wall move in this direction, in the outward direction. Okay, here you can see the arrow in this direction, while the inner wall being thick and inelastic, they don't move. Okay, they don't expand, but because of the pressure of this outer wall, they are pulled inside slightly, they are little pulled inside, because of which the stoma gets open. So when the stoma gets open, exchange of the gases can take place, means outside carbon dioxide can move inside and inside oxygen can move outside the plant. Okay, the basically the opening of the stomata is taking place when the guard cells are turgid. When the guard cells are turgid, water is there, water pressures are applied on the wall of the guard cell. So outer wall being thin and elastic, they expand. They can expand easily because they are elastic, they can expand easily. But the inner wall being thick and inelastic, they don't expand. But because of the pressure of the outer wall, they tend to move inward. Okay, you can see all the arrow. Okay, you can see all the arrow, they tends to move inward, and as a result the stoma open and the exchange of the gases are taking place. Now the closing of the stoma is taking place when the guard cells are flaccid, when the guard cells are flaccid. Okay, now again take the example of a balloon. When there is no air in the balloon, okay, so how that balloons basically shrinks. Similarly here also, when there is no water in the guard cell, the stoma, the guard cell basically shrinks and the stoma closes. Okay, when the stoma closes, no exchange of the gases can take place. So opening and the closing of stomata is taking place with the help of the guard cells. When the guard cells are turgid, stoma opens. When the guard cells are flaccid, stoma closes down and no exchange of the gases can take place. Now, if you see the function of the stomata, basically two main functions of the stomata are there. It helps in the exchange of the gases like carbon dioxide. As I said earlier, carbon dioxide can move inside the plant and the process of the photosynthesis can take place, and after the process of the photosynthesis, when oxygens are evolved by that process, that oxygen can move outside the plant so that we all can breathe. Okay. Now the second process is it help in the process of transpiration. Now what is this transpiration? Is basically the loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial part of the plant. This is important, that in transpiration the loss of water is taking place in the form of water vapor. Okay. So extra water which is getting moving outside the plant in the form of water vapor is taking place with the help of the stomata. When the stomata are open, the water vapor can move outside the plant, and when the stomata are closed, no water can move outside the plant in the form of water vapor. So here we have studied about the photosynthesis, how plants are preparing their food with the help of photosynthesis. What is stomata? Structure of the stomata, opening and the closing mechanism basically, and the functions of the stomata. So basically the raw material, if we will see the essential raw material, as I have discussed earlier only, that three raw materials are there: carbon dioxide, water and the solar energy. They are the three main raw material for the photosynthesis. Okay. So in the next video we will study about the factors affecting photosynthesis. Okay.